guys, old man Chris again. I keep adding extra stuff to the list. I really ought to be getting on with my sharpening system and the new chuck, but I'm sort of filling in smaller bits so I'm not out here for long at a time and just pick away at odd things. And since I got this spin index, or Spindex as we tend to call them, I now know that it does 1 degree increments as it stands. I watched Tom Lipton's, was it 3 or 4 part series, modifying his, putting a new indexing plate on the back end. I'm not going to go that far, and in fact I'm not going to change much on it except modify it to suit my needs. But I have a number of problems because I'm not in the big league like Tom or Adam. Small stuff really, and this little mill and the vise I've got, which it'd take a 4-inch, I might even yet get a 4, although I've got a 4 on the drill press, which actually isn't too bad for the mill. But the trouble is the jaw opening is limiting me on some things. This one doesn't go much more than 3 and a bit. I can just squeak 3 3/4, I think, on the one on the drill press. And the reason that's of significance I will explain in a minute when I'm thinking of what I'm going to do. The main thing being to true up the edges of the Spindex base so I can actually put it in a chuck, just for simplicity. And as somebody suggested when I mentioned about drilling holes in the base, they said why not drill slots, when I suppose that would be sensible too. I've still got the problem of fixing the darn thing up because the only vise I've got is a monster 6-inch, which wouldn't look bad on your big Bridgeport, but on this setup here it's pretty silly. So I'll do a bit of handheld, just mention roughly what I'm going to try and do. Alright, or try. One other YouTuber, Basement Shop, is it Basement Shop Guy? He did a modification to his base, but he's got a vise big enough to put this in, which is just 4 and a bit, almost in all directions. So I want to reduce this dimension here. You might see a couple of lines. I took a center point and extended from there, so I got 3 3/4 3 3/4. And apart from anything else, you might notice on this side, if the line shows, you might notice it's not exactly parallel. Alright, so I want to machine this to both reduce width and finish up with parallel, so I can actually put it in a vise. And that's for a quick fix instead of mounting it to the table. But I will put a couple of slots in as well at some point. I think, if I remember, my T-slots on the mill are 2.5 inches apart, and 2.5 is about that. So that'll work alright for slots. Now the next thing is how the hell we hold this, because I can't put it in the vise. I can't do this, which is what other people have done, and that's where I haven't got the width on the vise jaws. So what I plan to do is let me dummy it up and show you. As so often when you're working small scale, you have to find other ways of doing things. And it's annoying that I've got to do this what I call the hard way. Anyway, my main concern here is to take material off both sides. We'll start with one side and to get our setup, let's see if I can get this. It's quite a good fit in the bore. Amazing, isn't it? Alright, so we'll start like that, which I think you can see. Let's bring it up a bit. There, it should be a bit better, you can see it. So we'll set this up, probably have some padding in the vise, plus, as I say, any shimming material I need to get truth in this plane. And then I will take the indicator off the back, which is quite nicely machined. Will come off the back to get lined up vertical with the spindle, so the setup is a bit of a pain in the whatnot. And that's how we'll do that. And then when this side is done, the material removed, and we're parallel to this axis, and then we'll flip it and set it up again. And because, again, with some packing underneath, so this will actually come up slightly because we'll have taken material off. We'll bring that up slightly, and if we're on a parallel, we can maintain the truth from that face to this one and hopefully finish up within a thou or two of parallel both sides. Alright? And then we've got to drill holes in it. Well, fixing for drilling and slotting is going to be a bit of a pain too, really. How much easier with a big vise. I could put my big 6-inch vise on and try and use that, but it is so huge, it comes way out the front. It's ridiculous. So what I might try is a couple of 1, 2, 3 blocks into T-nuts, and probably have to add some parallels inside there so that this piece doesn't touch the mill table, which it is at the moment. Alright, but with a couple of parallels in there, and then I'll probably keep the vise where it is if I can, but we'll put clamps on each end here using the center T-slot. Either have a single clamp bar or 2 separate clamps, and then in essence just set the damn thing up, tram it both ways, and drill the holes. Once it's actually set up, the hole drilling will be easy. So that's the basic plan for now. The other parts of the thing will probably stay fairly standard because, as often happens, I'm after function more than pretty. We'll see where we go. Okay. This may or may not register. I've got a mirror down there, and I've been setting up on the this is not easy being handheld, so just zoomed back a little bit there, so we're bearing the indicator on the shaft, which is far enough in to get a good fit. And this surface, this here, I've already indicated across, and it's within about a thou. I've actually used some aluminum filler rod in here because it's not absolutely flat the other side. But now you can see that line. You see how much I've got to take off? Not only to take off the extra to go in my milling vise, but to get rid of this very slanted side. So just this quick handheld to give you an idea of the setup. All because I haven't got a vise big enough to take it the other way. Otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, we'd hold across here. So anyway, there's usually a way to do things. So we'll set this up and try and get some milling done on there. You probably saw in the last shot, and I forgot to mention, that's 7.5 thou, just under the end in here, which is, there was really enough light to see it. It's even at an angle. So I've picked that up having indicated, so it's got a bit of security. The other thing I meant to mention before, ages ago, And that's this sort of quick winder for the drawbar. I only use the wrench when I'm tightening up finally. All this is, it's as simple as get out a bit of tube, which I happen to have, and flattened the end and kept working at it until it's an adequate fit. Not a tight fit, but it means you can twirl that round, make it quicker. Alright, it's back to what we were doing. This is going to take a while to machine, so I'm not going to bother you with much of it, just to show you the progress really. I've got rag everywhere to try and catch the cast iron chips, make clearing up a little bit quicker. I'm running a 1-inch 4 flute HSS at I'm going to about 600, which should be okay. I took a 50 thou cut here to try. It takes it, but you know me with this little machine, I tend to go a bit slower, so probably 25-30 thou and faster feed, get there and get her done. So let's put in 30. It's about 30. Well, it's got level, but there's a lot of material left yet. Bit tedious milling that. I'm almost wondering if I can. Well, I've got it all set up now. I'm wondering I might take it out, see if I can get that in the band. No, it's not going to go in the bandsaw. Got too much in the way, so unless I'm missing something like a brain, which is normal, we'll just have to mill that off. Once this side's done, we can just whack it straight back in and shouldn't have to indicate it, and finish up the two pretty parallel sides. Well, a bit tedious, but getting there. I'm just taking the last pass. I've been feeding it at about 3.5 inches a minute, and this is another 25, which get me down to onto the line. And then we can clean up and clean up, my gosh, what a mess, and flip it over and do the other side. Alright, not too bad. It's not the newest of end mills, but it's cutting okay. So let's tidy this up. We'll stone these edges later to finish them off. By the way, this is where the magnetic picker-upper makes a difference. Gets rid of the worst amount before I shake the rags out. Great little tool. Well, setting this up for the other side proved to be far from easy. I'm pushing my luck in this little vise. But because of the painted surface, the opposite side, It wasn't bearing very well on the rear jaw, the fixed jaw, and I've had to do a lot of fiddle, because the round piece at the back has to clear the back of the vise as well. That's another aspect, which is more of a problem now since I took nearly a ½ inch off, well, 3/8 off the bottom. You might just see what I've done here. I've got a couple of parallels, and I had to gain a bit of extra height, but not much, because these jaws are not that high. So I got a piece of ground hard wire to give me an extra, what would that be, not even a 1/16 really. And I've used the aluminum filler rod on the rear, because it's at the back here where the surface against the jaw was not good. I did all that fiddling so I could get square. Alright, we're down snug on there, no movement in the parallels, so we should be very close here to being parallel with the first face we cut. So we'll take the first cut on this side. Yeah, a lot of resonance on there. A lot of resonance. And this side wasn't quite true in itself. So anyway, we're going to go down the whatever 3/8 and bring you back when we're nearly finished. A lot of vibration. A lot of vibration. I mean, this is done up real tight. But this is a long way off from the jaws. And I'm not surprised. Quite a lot of sort of resonance. Right, just a finishing cut. Should get me down to the 3 3/4 minus a smidgen. Alright, that's a lot of material to take off. Yeah, it's not too bad. Alright, we'll clean up and see how we're going to see how we're going to mount this sucker to get some holes in the bottom. Okay, explanation. I decided not to use the 1, 2, 3 blocks, although it would have probably worked. But I might have had to remove the vise, which is nicely set up. Alright, what we've done, which I think will probably work, leaving aside the odd mark on the paint, which I'm not worried about. So we've opened the vise jaws sufficient to get the top part, as this is, on the base of the vise. With some leather. I don't think you can see that. Take my word for it. In the bore here there is a strip of 8th oak tanned leather, and the let me just zoom back a bit. Alright, a more general view. I probably zoom in too much, don't I, sometimes? Yeah, so there, bit of leather, goes right through, and there's a piece of leather actually, sorry, that's the one that goes right through underneath, and then in here, whether you can actually see, there's a corner of a piece of leather. So these clamps are bearing on very thick, strong leather, and they shouldn't mar the surface inside. Famous last words. So to save putting anything in a chuck or a collet, I'm using this, my magnetic long 2-inch. Very handy actually. Put that on the side of the box here, and you can check quite a lot. So we've got pretty good truth. The two sides that we milled earlier, check those, they're within about 1/3 of each other. Very adequate tolerance on those. The truth here is almost spot on that way. I didn't have to make any adjustment, and this way I just got the clamps done up and got it close, and then just judicious rubber mallet tapping. So we're now basically 90 and 90 to all intents. So we've got to set things up now and get some holes, which we'll probably make some holes first, and then somebody suggested slots. It might be an idea to slot them once we've got a hole. Well, the column's right up, so I'm getting limited for space, but I can get this fairly new 1/4 inch in here, so we'll get a couple of quarter holes, and then I've got it's a used but tight twist 5 flute, actually carbide. So I'm going to go up to 7/16. I'll use a stub drill for 7/16, and then we'll put the carbide in, and we'll go probably 1 hole diameter each way, just to give me a bit of leeway with slots. Alright. Now let's go back 2.5 inches. Right, lock the wire. Darn drill's magnetic like every other damn thing in the shop. Right, let's change drill sizes. Right, clear that up, come across to the other, and then we'll try and get the mill through. Well, this also will take a little while. I tried a heavy-ish cut of about 50 thou, but bearing in mind the mounting and such like, it turns out that 30 is about what it seems to manage comfortably, so it's just a bit tedious. Plus I'm not using any stops. One thing I lost, at least I haven't put any back in, I haven't got any stops on the X. I'm having to use the DRO, which is a bit slow when you get close to the end. And so on. I'll come back to you when I've got these suckers finished. And you can't really see very much on this when I'm working on it. That one's done. We're about 200 thou down there. I wonder if I dare zoom in a bit more. Let's try that. Not that it's very exciting. I did say initially I'd go one diameter each side, but there's no point. I'm going not quite half a diameter, 200 each way. That's quite adequate, gives plenty of leeway. And still limiting to about 40-45 thou. It's fairly comfortable, gives me a fairly fast feed. Coming this direction is a little bit noisier because I don't think it's clearing the chips so quickly. Oh, sorry, I'm really in the way there when I unlock the spindle. Get ready for the next cut. Yeah, I'm zoomed in too much, getting in the way. Alright, that'll do. I'll finish this slot off. In fact, I'm probably going to finish this session, although I can do this sitting, which helps a lot. I think I've come to about the end of my stamina. There you are. Yeah, I'll finish this off tomorrow, finish that slot, and then we're done with it. So, see you in a bit. So I got the last slot finished, albeit slow. The whole thing was a bit slow because, as I said earlier, largish piece, small machine, small vise. You Bridgeport guys would have made mincemeat of it. You don't know how lucky you are. Mind you, I wouldn't do without my little mill. It does a lot. So anyway, we've got twice diameter slots in there now, 2.5 inch centres for the T slots, and these edges, they came out I think within about a thou. I'll check it again actually and see. Edges is not very stable, doesn't sit in one place very easily. Do that up. 6, 8, 5, 6, 3.690, and then this end, basically it goes on, just a fraction tighter, so I would guess there's about a thou in it. So not very major tweaks for this. A lot of you guys would have done it in a fraction of the time it took me, and that's all I'm going to do to it, probably. Let me put it back together for now anyway. There we are, back together. And of course, when I talked about it before, I hadn't really given much thought to the total function. So that's 0, 0. Yeah, I should have known that. Anyway, that's it back together. Now, when I mentioned about the what is now the drill press vise, I did use this on the mill for a while, and it is viable. It's just not quite as good as the other one, but having dealt with that base to get just a bit below 3/4, that means we can work. That's only about, whatever it is, 3.5, 4, about 4 inches off the table, which give me enough space for manoeuvring. And I think also this will be able to go on the table next to the regular vise with sufficient table movement to allow it to be used as an extra. Alright, so that's about it on there. Just a bit of summing up plus one little item of amusement, shall we say. Some of you may remember a while back I was bemoaning the fact that I couldn't find a new bench block. Well, I proved a point. I bought another one, and then of course the first one turned up. It was in the lathe cupboard here, and I'd already looked, I thought, amongst all the bits. And there it is, the little fella. So anytime you lose something for a long time, go and get another, and the other one will turn up, yeah? Oh, there we are, another small job dealt with. Having just got the Spindexer, I thought I'd do the mods straight away so it's ready for use. I don't suppose it'll get used a huge lot, but a lot of people seem to have found them very useful. Tom Lipton's modification was absolutely brilliant. I don't think I should be going to those lengths. I'll just make do with what I've got on here, and if that doesn't do, it'll be out with the dividing head. So there's the what we call the drill vise with that in it, and you can see we're overhanging the normal vise position such that really needn't be moved. These jaws unfortunately only open to about, I don't know, 3.5, just not enough. So this will work quite well, or with the slots we can put it directly onto the table and probably still be within the vice jaw opening. So I'm quite pleased with that, and I suppose one or two things, collars and such like, might modify them later, but I'm not really worried about that. Function is everything. So I've still got back burner stuff. Every time I do a video I mention about the acute system. I've got to get back to that, and probably maybe even before that try and do something with my back plate for the new chuck. Quite a lot to do, which involves quite a bit of standing, some of it unfortunately, but we'll see how we go. Nibble nibble, one bit at a time, yeah? That's often the way to go. Thanks to all the subscribers, bless you, and I'll see you soon hopefully. Thanks for watching.